Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Malik Zaib Alam, and today we are going to study about IP addresses. What is IP address? What are the versions of IP address? And what are the types of IP address we will study here in our today's lecture. First of all, we have to know that what is IP address. IP address is a numerical identifier that is used to identify any device in the network, and it's a unique number that is given to any device in a network. Like this is one small network with two PCs. So this PC has an IP address and this PC has an IP address. When you are going to communicate between these two devices, then you must have an IP address for each device. If I'm giving you a daily life example for the IP address, if you want to go, if you want to go to your friend's home, okay, if you want to go to your friend's home, then this house has a specific address. Okay, this house has a specific address. If you want to reach to this house, then you must know the address. Without this address you cannot reach here, and you are here, and you are the source, and this house is the other house where you want to reach, that is the destination. Similarly, when you want to communicate between two devices in a network, then you must need an IP address. Okay, you must need an address, so that is an IP address. Okay, IP address basically a logical address that you are assigning to the device. Okay, there are two types of IP address. Sorry, there are two versions of IP address: IP version 4 and IP version 6. These two are the versions of IP addresses. Now we will study here in our today's lecture about IP version 4. We are focusing on IP version 4. So in IP version 4 we have total number of bits are 32. There are 32 bits in an IP version 4 address, and these 32 bits are divided into four octets, and each octet consists of 8 bits, and these 8 bits those are present in one octet are separated by period, are separated by period dot. Okay, if I am writing here an IP version 4 address, so 8 bits will be here in the first octet, then there is a dot, a period, then 8, then 8, and then 8 in the fourth octet. These are the bits or octets in an IP address. Okay. Furthermore, these version 4 IP addresses are divided into 5 classes. There is a concept of classes in IP version 4. The first class is A, the second is B, then C, D, and E. These are 5 classes in IP version 4 addresses. Okay, the total range for the IP addresses, the total range of IP addresses is from 0 to 255. If all bits are zeros, then it is 0, and if all bits are ones, then the IP address is 255. Okay, so this is the total range for the IP version 4 addresses. Then we have specific range for each class of IP version 4 addresses. Class A range is from 0 to 127. Class B range is from 128 to 191. Okay, class C range is from 192 to 223. Class D range is from 224 to 239, and class E range is from 240 to 255. So these are the ranges for each class in IP version 4 address. Okay, we will study later on in detail about these classes, but uh, now you have to know that these three classes, the first three classes, those are class A, B, and C. These are for lanes, and WANs. Okay, these classes are for local area networks and wide area network, means we are assigning the IP addresses. Those are assigned to these devices will be from class A, B, and C. The class D is for multicasting. Okay, when we will study multicasting, then I will explain class D there. And class E is for documentation. Okay, so this is the concept of 5 classes in IP version 4 addresses, right? Now these IP addresses has, each IP address has two parts. Okay, each IP address has two parts, or you can say that there are two portions of IP addresses, or parts of IP addresses. The first part is called network part. Okay, and the second one is host part, host portion and network portion. Okay, in class A, in class A, by default, we are saying by default. Okay, by default, in class A we have 8 bits for the network portion. Okay, 8 bits for the network portion and 24 bits for the host portion. Okay, in class B we have 16 bits for network portion and 16 bits for the host portion. Sorry, class B. And in class C we have 24 bits for the network portion and 8 bits for the host portion. So you can say that if we have big network, we have more devices, then we are using class A. If we have a medium network, okay, then we are using the class B IP addresses. And if we have a very small network, then we are using the class C IP addressing. Okay, so these are the portions of IP version 4 address, that there are two portions, network portion and host portion. It's a very much important that you have to know that what are the default bits in host portion and the network portion. I hope you are understanding me, right? Now these IP addresses or IP version 4 address has how many types? There are there are 4 types of IP version 4 addresses. The first one is called private IP addresses. Okay, public, this is the second type. Static and dynamic. Okay, the private and public IP addresses, these two IP addresses are the indicative of location. These two types of addresses are indicative of location, and these two are indicative of permanency. Okay, the example is private IP addresses are used inside the network, like on lanes, and public IP addresses are used on in wide area networks. while the static IP addresses are the addresses those are assigned manually, okay, and these are permanent IP addresses, okay. On the other hand, dynamic IP addresses are assigned by DHCP server, okay, and these are changeable IP addresses, okay. So these are four types of IP addresses. Now, what is the range for private IP addresses in class A and B and C, and what are the public IP addresses in class A, B, and C? So, private IP addresses are private, or you can say class A private IP addresses. These are from 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. So this is the range for class A private IP addresses. Similarly, class B private IP addresses are, range is 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255, okay. And class C IP address range is 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255. So these are the ranges for the private IP addresses in each class. Other than these IP addresses, all are public IP addresses. Other than these private IP addresses in class A, B, and C, all are public IP addresses. Okay? So you have to differentiate, you have to recognize the private IP address range in each class, then you can get the public IP addresses. Okay? Got it? I think for today it's enough that about the IP addresses. It's a brief introduction of IP address, that what is IP address, how we can write the IP address, okay, what are the version of IP address, what are the classes of IP address, and finally we have studied the types of IP address, and we have studied the private IP address range and the public IP address, okay. So for today, thank you very much for watching the lecture. See you inshallah in the next class. Thanks a lot.